Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Southern Lady, and here's her story. Ollie, good morning. I've been watching your videos for almost a year to help get clarity on my own problems that I've been carrying around for over 20 years. The turning point for me is when I became a wife and mother a few years ago. I closely examined my parents' dynamic in their marriage and parental roles. My parents are still together after 37 years of marriage. From the outside, they are a couple to be envied. They're both still attractive, healthy, and more in love today than the day they met. They attribute their love to the fact that they've been through so much together and that they've come out the other side. The reality is, there is another side. A much more sinister side of gaslighting, abuse, and control. My mother is very highbrow, Scarlett O'Hara type dramatic, without the self-determination to achieve success on her own. She was a high school teacher until the late 90s. She said she had to quit her job to stay at home to watch me while I was a teenager. She told my father and everyone that would listen that I told her I was ready to have sex. So basically, your mother decided she didn't want to work anymore and decided to say, my daughter wants to have sex, so I have to stay home to watch her. Makes sense. Apparently, that's why she had to stop working, to prevent me from having sex. Oh, that's right. I do not recall ever having such a candid conversation with my mother when I was 12 years old. She swears that I told her on this car ride and on an errand, and it nearly gave her a stroke. Truthfully, I just wanted my father to take care of her and provide. Truthfully, she just wanted my father to take care of her and provide the lifestyle she always wanted. Yeah, that's what a lot of women figure out, that they don't want to be working and they don't want to be honest about it. See, this is another gift to feminism. Okay, is that women can never be honest with themselves and they have to find a scapegoat and a black sheep to blame all their decisions on and all their problems on, because they don't want to take responsibility for them, for their decisions on their own. So it's not that she just didn't want to work. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. It's not that. No. She has to make up an excuse and say you told her you were ready to have sex at 12 years old. A conversation that you don't remember having because it never happened. What child, what 12-year-old would forget telling their mother that something like that? But obviously your mother had you so gaslighted on other things up until that point. You're pretty much easy to believe anything. Easy to get you to believe anything. Because I highly doubt this is the first one of your mother's decisions that she tried to blame on you, that she didn't want to take responsibility for being her own. She ever go back to work? I mean, you were 12, so, I mean, how long was she going to watch you to prevent you from having sex? I mean, after 15, 16, 17, it's pretty difficult to stop a teenager from doing what they want to do. Did you ever go back to work? After you turned 18, 19? We'll see. My mom is a notorious spendthrift and took my father along for the ride. They're both now in those prime retirement years and do not have anything to retire on, despite my father making good money. However, my father is doing well for himself has not always been the case. Or my father doing well for himself has not always been the case. Facts being what they are, my mother's parents supported my parents until their late 30s, early 40s. Keep in mind that my grandparents were retired at the time. Also, my grandparents also raised my sisters and me. Another fact my mother denies. Typical baby boomers. Typical baby boomers having shit handed to them. Having shit handed to them in their 30s and 40s. You know, like, and that was like when stuff was better for them. So what was their problem back then? Jesus Christ. If I had if I had my parents paying for my shit until my early 40s, which, I'm 45 now, which I guess could have been up until last year, yeah, I would have had a great head start too. I think most of us would have. My parents, having lived through the Great Depression and World War, did not want to see their granddaughters go without. My father started an IT business in the mid-90s that failed and put my parents in bankruptcy. However, he merged into success in the early 2000s when my father started making money. That's when my mother's behavior slowly started to go unchecked. My mom was actually kind of cruel and weird about puberty and the awkward teen phases I had growing up. I have two younger sisters that she didn't have that much focus on. No, because you're the black sheep. She only needed to get out of work once. And she only needed to blame one person for it. And that was going to be you, because you were the oldest. My mother and father were constantly on to me about my weight and said I was so fat that I looked pregnant. My mom would accuse me of being pregnant because I was so fat, and because of my polycystic ovarian syndrome, my cycle would hurt so bad, she would ask if I was in labor. Last year, when she sent old photos to my home, I couldn't help to notice that I was not fat at all. I looked like a typical teenage girl. I was tall with full breasts and hips, light acne, and a goofy smile. As I said, your mother has been altering your reality your entire life. Your mother has been blaming you and putting things in your head that aren't true your entire life. It's almost as if your mother was trying to make you into a whore, so she can have this rambunctious daughter that she can victimize herself with and stay home. The best she could come up with is you were ready to have sex, huh? Your mother seemed like trying to drive your self-esteem so low. That's how promiscuous girls are made. One of my mom's claims to fame is that she was a model in the 1970s. She said she never made it big because she was afraid to leave her family. She said I could model because of my height, but I needed to drop at least 100 pounds. Keep in mind, this was the 90s, and the preferred model body type was the heroin chick waif. At the same time, she would take the family out for dense Tex-Mex dinners and all of a sudden developed a passion for deep Southern home cooking. Both her and my father would monitor everything I consumed. Back to the weird sex thing, my mom would say, no man would want to have sex with someone as gross and fat as you. She's daring you to have sex. She was trying to make you into this promiscuous whore. But then again, men will have sex with donkeys and each other if nothing else is available to them. So we're keeping a close eye out on you. It was just bizarre stuff. My mom is absolutely consumed by sex. Everything someone does has a sexual motive to it. From my preteen years, my mom would try to talk to me about her sex life or lack thereof with my father. If she wasn't getting constant attention and relations from my father, she would lash out and accuse him of cheating. When she wasn't getting any, my sisters and me were not allowed to walk around the house in our pajamas or nighties because we were distracting my father. Your mother was trying to make you into a whore to make herself feel better. Because your mother only thinks with her pussy. Excuse me, I will end both of you! Sorry about that. Where was I? It's disgusting. Because your mother's another one of these types that puts all her value in her vagina and lets her pussy do her thinking. Another baby boomer. What a shock. What a shock. When I first met my boyfriend, she kept prying about where we were in our relationship and if I had lost my virginity. When I finally did sleep with my boyfriend, she freaked and called the cops on both of us. I was 16 and he was 17 years of age. She wanted him arrested for statutory rape, and I hauled in for being a teenage runaway. This was after my parents made a spectacle in our front yard for all the neighbors and people driving by to see and hear. My mom kept slapping and punching my face. My father hurled me like a lawn dart through the air. When the police arrived at our home, they told my parents there's nothing that could be done, and my boyfriend and I hadn't broken any laws. My mom demanded that the cop call the DA to ask again. I was clearly roughed up, and the cop did nothing. I didn't press the issue because I was afraid of being kicked out. My parents didn't let me live this down for years and called me a slut, a liar, a fuck up, etc., which is exactly what they were pushing you to be, which is what they wanted the entire fucking time. Your mother beating you on the front lawn is her beating herself so she doesn't have to face the fact that she's a raging fucking whore. Typical baby boomer behavior. They have to project everything they are onto you. That's just what they do after having everything fucking handed to them. Into their early 40s. And all your mother still cares about is dick and attention. Listen, my mother would bitch too to me about how my father couldn't handle her sexually, how he would run and hide. And like, same deal. That deviant bitch. They project everything they are onto you. By the way, one of my parents' favorite things to do is call me a liar. Always is. I'm private and secretive for obvious reasons, but not a liar in the traditional sense of the meaning. For some reason, this memory bubbled up the other day. Actually, a lot of memories have bubbled up since my husband and I have moved states away from my family. My husband can't stand my family, and they can't stand him because he won't put up with their nonsense. My child is allowed bare minimum contact with my entire family. Since my sister has a child that is about the same age, the family, especially my parents, tend to lavish time, attention, praise, and gifts on her child. My son is clearly an afterthought, and it's been that way since I announced my pregnancy. Everything about you is going to be an afterthought. You're a black sheep. The low and no contact approach is healthier for my son's overall well-being. I don't even think you should allow them anywhere near your son with their history. With your mother's sexual deviant history, they love to be, and the older they get, the worse they get. They just get better at doing it behind your back. I would not let your mother anywhere near your son. No way, no how. My husband has pointed out that my parents' behavior will not change, and they will make it known to my son that he is not his wonderful cousin. Also, they'd go as far to speak ill of us to our own son if the opportunity presents itself. You need to stop. You need to cut it off completely. Not only are they not going to, the behavior not going to stop, it's going to get worse. Over Easter 2018, this theory was proven correct. My parents had invited themselves to my new city to see their grandchild. They didn't really want to see him at all. They wanted to see the bars, eateries, shops, and anything of interest to them, none of which are toddler friendly. That sounds just like my parents. However, they wanted the occasional picture to post on the family thread, but not on Facebook like they do with my nephew. I'm keeping this short with more to follow, since watching your videos, that pretty much cements in the fact that we're doing the right thing by trying to heal, to do better for my kid. You're helping pull myself and others out of hell an inch at a time. Keep up the amazing work, Southern lady. Well, look, your husband's right about your family. And keeping any type of contact with a sociopathic, sexually deviant, baby boomer, pussy-thinking mother is never going to end well, is it? Is it? It's going to be one manipulation to the next, and you or your son or your husband will never have the status that you want. They will never love you or care about you or include you the way you want to be included. Ever. Because they know you want it. And that's what also feeds them to fucking reject you. You are there to give them their narcissistic supply. You are there to have all their bullshit projected upon you. Your mother's fucking whoriness, okay, which she was trying to project on you for years so she could beat you on the front lawn. So it's not me. I got this whore daughter. You're right. This is the narcissistic baby boomer sociopath thinking out her pussy. I can't sum that up because your mother touches all the bases. All the bases. The narcissistic baby boomer sociopath mother thinking with her pussy. And you're gonna let your son around this woman and these people. Why? That's what I thought. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story. I hope this helped. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it successful, growing, and expanding, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.